So your wife wants a minivan, huh? Well, I got 5 SUVs that are better. Come on inside. Welcome to Off Camber. So in recent months, the minivan argument has become your reality. I get it. Your wife has a brochure. She has a case though. You got some kids and you got some dogs. As you start to black out, you hear words like 3 rows, sliding doors, decent fuel economy. But there's no need to slide into those jean shorts and start tucking a polo shirt in just yet. So now we've got this list, and there's 2 rules to it. $20K initial budget using car guy math, meaning you got to buy the car and do the initial mods using that. They have to be able to seat the family and the dogs. And one last rule, you got to be able to modify it. I mean, you look lame doing burnouts in your stock SUV. You just do. So let's go. Car number 5, 3rd gen Ford Expedition and Lincoln Navigator. So the Expedition is what replaced the Bronco. It modernized Ford's offerings in the SUV world by taking a body-on-frame truck and throwing IRS on it. And they made it look a little bit more rounded off and made it look a little bit more, this century. So what are the golden years for these trucks? Well, the 3rd gens are all pretty good, 07 through 14. The early trucks made 300 horsepower and 365 pound-feet of torque. In 09, they changed the tune and bumped that power up to 310. I'd go for an 09 or later if you've got the funds, but the whole run is good and it's software that differentiates them. So the nightmare situation, it's a Ford story, right? Cam phasers. They go bad quietly and with like 0 warning. You need to check if it got done or budget for it if the owner doesn't know for sure. Then there are the spark plugs. Those things can break in 2 without the right removal tool. They break right at the neck, makes them real hard to get out. But at least they fixed the problem they had in the 4.6 liter with the spark plug rapidly decompressing the cylinder. Progress, I guess. The first money you're going to spend on these things, cam phaser lockouts if they haven't been done, and that's probably going to eat up most of the budget. If they're already done, we're going to go straight to making it your truck. The lower end catalog on these trucks is a little bit limited compared to some of the other trucks on the list. So you got to make sure that you sort that out before you fall in love with a specific ride height. The air suspension, a lot more configurable. While you're in there though, refresh any bushing you need to make sure it rides nice and smooth for the significant other and the kids and the dogs. Then, once you get it lowered, look for some wheels. There's a pretty good selection out there for the 6x135s, and you shouldn't have any problem finding what you want. Next up, how do we get more horse ponies? Well, we can go NA, and we can do heads, cam, intake, all the goodies. The selection of companies out there for those are, pretty big. Places like Livernois, Holley, Eldebrock, just head to Summit Racing, you'll see. You want to force more air into the cylinder, you say? Well, ProCharger makes a supercharger kit for 2007 to 14. And it fits right on the Expedition and Navigator with the 5.4 to 3 valve. You order it, it shows up, you install it. The only thing standing between you and making the Odyssey driver feel something is figuring out how to tell your wife that you needed to have any of these parts. Wait, I got it. It's about the safety of the kids. Being able to merge into traffic is important. Which one are you gonna buy? The Expedition or the Navigator? Get down in the comments and tell me. Or maybe you're not into Fords and you want a dang Hemi. All right, fine then, let's talk Hemis. So car number 4. 3rd gen Dodge Durango. This is the Durango that's built on a Charger chassis, and then some psycho at Dodge added 3 rows, threw a Hemi in it, and then acted like everything was completely normal. That's my kind of dude. So the golden years for this thing are the 2015 to 2018 RT trim. It comes with a 5.7 liter Hemi, 360 horsepower, 391 pound-feet of torque, and it comes with a ZF 8 HP that everyone is swapping into their cars now. Unibody construction, which means the thing handles more like a car than anything else on this list. And if you can grab a 2015 or later, you can get a red interior that looks like the blood of your vanquished enemies, from your days of vanquishing enemies. The nightmare situation on this, it's the multi-displacement system. You got to check for ticking at cold start to see if it's got that Hemi tick, and then ask questions to find out if it's been done. If they don't know, assume it hasn't been done. If that's the case, leave money in the budget for the delete kit. So what's your first money spent? Well, it's probably the MDS delete kit, unless you know for sure. Look at Texas Speed. They've got a whole setup for everything you need, including the tune. And that's going to be the first check that you write on any used Hemi. And it's a performance upgrade at the same time. So as far as the wife concerned, it's just preventative maintenance, but it gets you a little more horsepower too. Remember, you're a responsible guy now. Next thing we do is exhaust, because remember, Hemi need make more noise, and then save the rest for more love. There are lots of coilover kits out there for them. We got Eibach, Silvers, Megan, or Megan, however you want to pronounce it, just to name a few. You won't have any shortage of options on these things, but do your research on the ride height of each to make sure that they're going to be the right set for you. Also, make sure it rides smooth enough. Some of them ride a little bit stiffer than others. So how do we get more horse ponies in this thing, brother? This is a HEMI. There are cams, exhaust, intakes, superchargers, turbos, all in kit form for this thing. It's going to be best if you install it yourself to keep the costs down, but there is no shortage of parts. Personally, I'd probably throw a Whipple on it for a daily. Looking for wheels for this thing? Well, it's a 5x127 bolt pattern, and that's a pretty standard Chrysler Jeep truck pattern, so there are plenty of wheels out there for them. So you get 360 horsepower to start with a unibody chassis and 3 rows of seats, and a really good aftermarket that'll get you another 150 horsepower, no problem at all. The guy in the Odyssey and your wife see a responsible family SUV, lowered to look good because you got to keep a little bit of street cred. The guy at the light with the stock Mustang GT is going to see a cloud of tire smoke in your taillights. But you say your wife wants a little luxury? Okay, I got something for that too. Before we hit number 3, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Subscribe button's here. I think the like button's here. And the comments are down over here somewhere. And if you want to support the channel a little bit more, get this QR code. Go to offcamber.com. You can buy yourself a t-shirt and some stickers if you want. I'm running a 20% off sale all the way up until Memorial Day. Get your shirt now before we run out. We are selling them pretty quick, and I'm looking at my stock and I'm actually running out. Car number 3 is the Cadillac Escalade, the GMT 900 to be specific, and the ESV, so we're going to get that long boy. So the ESV is the long body version of the Escalade. It's a luxury SUV that has 3 rows and enough leather and cargo room to make your wife second guess that minivan option she keeps pushing. And for you, it's got 403 horsepower, 417 pound-feet of torque, all from a 6.2 liter LS engine. What's the golden years for these trucks? Well, 07 to 09. Those are the L92 cars. They have no active fuel management to be found anywhere. It is really the sweet spot. It's over $1,000 in parts you don't have to get for it right after purchase. The 2010 to 2013 cars, you got the L94. And you get that same 403 horsepower and 417 pound-feet of torque, but it's got the AFM cooked into it. Buy the earlier car if you want to skip that whole story, or budget for the delete kit. It's your choice. Both of them are good trucks. One of them just requires a little bit more money right off the bat. So the nightmare situation on this thing is the rear air suspension. The Escalade rides on air from the factory, and it's great when it works. When it stops working, you're either fixing it properly or you're converting to a static setup. But since we're going to lower it, is it really a nightmare or more of just an excuse to go get the suspension done right away? If you want to look like you care, bounce each corner before you buy. Listen to the compressor cycling. Or just make comments about it while you're looking at it with your wife. Talk about the reliability of the air system, as a responsible husband and father. So what's the first money spent? If it's the L94, the AFM delete kit has to happen first. Go to Texas Speed, find the kit, make it happen. If it's the L92, move straight to the suspension. You got Ride Tech, Magawis, Bell Tech. They all have a kit out there for these trucks and all sorts of ride heights to pick and choose from. And since we're pitching this one as a luxury option to the wife, you could just replace the bad air ride system with a good one. They do make kits for these things, and airing out on 22s when you pick up the kids will bring all the boys to the yard. So how do we get more horse ponies? Well, that seems like a silly question, random YouTube audience guy. The 6.2 liter L92 and L94 are LS engines. Naturally aspirated power adder market and forced induction catalog is almost never ending for these things. We got Magnuson, Whipple, Lingenfelter, all make 6.2 liter fitments. Texas Speed has cams, heads, whatever. But a supercharger pairs really nicely with air ride. Tell your wife that your certified hot rod sommelier told you to do so. She'll know what you mean. I learned that word from my wife too. So the wheels are 6 by 5.5, and everybody has got something for this thing. So there's not a single thing to worry about there. Just go find the wheels you want. You have 403 horsepower from the factory. You can throw air ride and 22s on this thing, and your wife thinks you did it for the family. You're welcome. Oh, you don't need all that room? The dogs don't go to Costco with you? That's cool. How about a 2-row HEMI job? Car number 2, the Jeep Grand Cherokee, the WK2. So this is the one that no one really suspects. The WK2 Jeep Grand Cherokee flies under just about everyone's radar, and most folks aren't even aware there was a Hemi version of this thing, but there was, and the aftermarket for it is just as big as you'd hope for. What are the golden years for this thing? 2012 to 2015. Has that same 5.7 liter Hemi as the Durango with the 360 horsepower and 391 pound-feet of torque. Same unibody construction and a grumpy ass Hemi motor that earns that badge. The limited trim is the sweet spot here if you don't want the extra luxury inside. You get all the equipment of the Overland, but none of the air suspension that should be diagnosing at 3 a.m. What's the nightmare situation? Well, it's the same engine as the Durango, so it's the same Hemi, same MDS, same lifter failures. That's the pattern with the Hemi-powered cars on this list. And this WK2, it's no exception. You know what to do if you have it. There's no reason to talk about it again. If you are looking at an Overlander Summit because your wife wants the nicer leather and the little bits of extra luxury, just know that that's where the air suspension lives. But again, it's just an excuse to change the suspension sooner if you have the budget. What's your first money spent? That's the MDS Delete and Tune. We've talked about it already. We don't need to do it again. Just remember that it's a performance upgrade too, so it counts twice. Then we've got MOAR Low. Eibach makes a pro kit if all you want is some springs and a nice set of shocks. And Silvers and Heroes, among others, make a coilover setup if you're like me and you're committed to that MOAR Low lifestyle. How do we get more horse ponies on the WK2? Remember guys, it's a Hemi. It's easy. We got RIP. They make a direct bolt-on intercooled supercharger kit for the WK2. At 6 pounds of boost on the stock engine, RIP's own dyno shows 150 wheel horsepower gain. ProCharger and Magnuson also have kits. Want to go NA and not really into the forced induction thing? That's cool, I guess. Check out Texas Speed, or even just jump on Summit and look. Calling the pool of aftermarket performance parts for this platform deep would be underselling this thing to you. It's got that same 5x5 pattern that the Durango has, so get after it. There's plenty of wheels. If number 2 is this good, what the hell could possibly be number 1? Well, most of you are guessing it already, then the other some of you, you're about to find out. Number 1, Chevy Tahoe GMC Yukon, the GMT 800. Look, you guys had to know I was going to go here. The LM7 5.3 liter is probably the most cost-efficient boost platform in the entire American truck production category. Not to mention, the GMT 800 is largely regarded as the best truck platform that Chevy ever built. UPP makes a bolt-on turbo kit for this thing, for the Tahoe Suburban and Yukon with the 5.3. That kit ships to your door, and you're building it in a truck you found for somewhere between $5,000 and $8,000. You're not going to beat that dollar to smile ratio anywhere else in an SUV platform. So that is the argument that's going to put this thing at number 1. What are the golden years for this platform? 2000 to 2006. The LM7 started at 285 horsepower in 2000 with 325 pound-feet of torque. In 2004, it went to 295. It's the same engine, just buy the lower mileage one. What's the nightmare situation with this? Well, believe it or not, the LM7 doesn't really have any catastrophic design failures. That's kind of part of the argument with this thing. However, what will get you is the 4L60E. They do not like this plane of existence, and they are constantly trying to ascend to the next level. There are things to do to mitigate these issues with them. Just know that once you start adding power, the transmission is not long for this world. Sure, there are exceptions out there. There are dudes out there that run these things with real power in front of them. But I personally wouldn't make that bet. Some of these trucks got the 4L65 or 4L70E. Those are stronger variants in the same family if you find one, but they're still going to die. The 2500s got the 4L80E. That's a hint for your junkyard searches. Or just start saving for that trans, but boost it first. I mean, what the hell? YOLO or something. Where's your first money spent? MOAR Low. Again, the same stuff that's out there for the Escalade is out there for this thing. It's slightly different suspension, but the same manufacturers are all over these things. There are even bolt-in 4-link kits and coilovers if you want to live that life. So how do we get more horse ponies? Guys, it's an LS. It makes the Hemi look like there's no options. The UPP twin turbo kit, you buy that thing straight off the website. With an injector upgrade, you're well past 450 wheel horsepower in a truck that you paid under 10 grand for, and you got full 3 rows of responsible choices. The wheels, 6x5.5. It's the same as the Escalade, same as every other full-size GM truck. Every brand, every style, any budget you want. Nothing to see here, folks. Just go pick a set of wheels out. The GMT 800 is so heavily modified by dads at large that there are guys that actually drift these things. Yeah, you heard me, they drift them. It's also not hard to keep going down that road on upgrades, and you can have this thing pumping out 900 to 1,000 horsepower pretty easily. If there is one thing in this world that GM will be remembered for, other than its bad marketing decisions, is that the LS engine comes in these trucks. That's the payoff here. You get one of the best engines to modify on the planet, and you get 3 rows of seats to give you that dad cred. So you can boost, lower, and slap wheels on every single one of these things. The question is what are you building? Do you need a full size? Do you need a mid size? Do you want luxury? Do you want 3 rows? Do you want 2 rows? Doesn't matter. There's a choice out there for you. This is a really rich market full of choices that prove that you don't have to give up your cool card when your dad card arrives in the mail. So make sure to pick accordingly. Thanks for coming. I hope you enjoyed your time here, and I'll see you next time on Off Camber.